Mhm. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of AI Amigos Show. My name is Marina, and I am very happy, as every Thursday, to be here with my two good friends, James and Chanchao. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey
Hello.
everyone.
How are you?
Oh my God, like I feel all of us, we are on the run lately, and it is actually aligning with the topic of today on all the things that are moving in a very fast pace in AI. Well, there are actually many things going on, and I would say a lot of noise around. So I will just throw the ball here on the field, and let's get started on what is going on with the layouts. There are so many reasons of people blaming AI for that, and other voices blaming the companies instead. So,
Well, I
what
mean,
is
what do you call? Amazon said they laid off people because they didn't say it was AI. They said it was due to they overhired people during the pandemic. At least that's
Mm,
what they're saying. That's what the
well,
official news is.
somehow it makes sense, but it's been way too long after the pandemic now.
6 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So then,
six years
if
later.
that's the reason, I would say that they took forever to actually decide, that they overhired.
mm,
Um, I don't know. I think here there is a combination of both things. My main thought is that there are many people who actually start jobs. For example, the job is changing, and then they don't adjust to the changes that AI is bringing to the job.
mm.
That is a problem. As we always say, like we cannot fight the technology. You actually have to try to make friends with this. And
Yeah, it was 16,000 people they laid off,
yeah,
while simultaneously investing 125 billion into AI and data centers.
so then it's kind of in the parallel. I don't really think the pandemic is actually the one to blame here.
Well,
And
how
they
many
cut off
people is there?
14,000 or laid off 14,000 back in October, by the way.
Yeah. So roughly, they were saying about 30,000 since late 2025,
Yeah.
and then they actually making a massive profit in 1 quarter is 21 billion. So yeah, they
Wow.
put the
But
money
it's
somewhere.
not AI's fault. Well, not directly, but indirectly.
I mean, uh, yes, I would say that the main issue here is that we just say, okay, this is fault of, like this is the fault of AI. And I wouldn't say that this is actually the fault directly. What I think is all the companies need to align with whatever is coming up. So then otherwise you get behind, maybe your competition implements AI and is more able to satisfy the needs of other clients, and well, so you will lose place in the market if you don't adjust. This is unfortunately what it is. The main concern that raises in my head now is very nice, we can use AI. Of course, you know that I love AI. I would be always in favor of this, but the problem is what is happening with the energy. How much energy do we actually need? Because to build this kind of data centers, you really need a lot. It's not like, okay, well, we can run it as a normal building.
Well, I mean, here in Ireland, in Tala, Amazon, speaking of Amazon, they are heating, the data center is heating a university, TU Dublin Tala, and they're piping their heat in.
Wow.
So even though they're using that energy, that heat is being used to heat a university.
Well, so and speaking about implementing AI in different places, I would like to remind our audience that we are sponsored by Tequila AI. So then, if you are planning to implement AI in your organization without blaming AI later on, for the issues that could be with your employees, you can always contact Tequila AI, and our friends will
Mm.
help you to find the best solution for your company.
Yeah, I think you'll need to look into that kind of role as well. There's a big shift in the job markets as well. I was noticing there's not many of those. Every company, like the colleagues are talking about, the people I work with before in the management or any other area now, they don't want a manager. They want to have tech manager and have leading the team with the tech design and all that implementation and understand stuff. And then so as this AWS kind of layoff, there's a lot of them are management layers stuff, and it's a
Is it like
collaboration.
architecture? Are you saying like architecture, Joe?
Yeah, architecting, tech lead role. Like the manager they want now these days is all 50% of tech leads. You have to understand your tech, you build stuff,
Okay.
things together.
But if you think about that, it actually makes sense. When I see people, maybe managers or leads that they don't have any background at all in tech. Yes, they know the surface, but sometimes they don't know, for example, how long the teams really take to reach from point A to B, or how to actually build all the infrastructure end to end. And this could be a problem. This could be an issue. I see this in the startup, so I imagine in a bigger scale it would be even worse, or even more complicated.
Yeah, the company, if the large company been there a good while, you have a lot of people sitting in the higher management positions, manage multiple teams, doesn't have this new kind of way of thinking, and you get going. Because yesterday I had a lunch with one of my friends, as he joined a company about 2 years ago. He joined as kind of senior manager, and he reports to kind of CTO straight away. He said that's what they promised him, but when he joined it, actually start working, he report to one of the senior manager, not the CTO. So he just thinking about, but like he just know like his senior manager he reported to got sacked. He's taking on his job, so they
Hmm.
planned it all along, because kind of he has a tech background, and he asked for like I needed to have 50% time on hand with tech leading the team, and it's not just manager people needs now these days. So yeah.
That's
I
interesting.
mean, like I think what is changing in the market is that before, the technical people, they only had the possibility to grow into a CTO. So it's kind of okay. So where are you going? CTO, maybe COO, and then that's it. But now I feel that technical people, they need to actually add soft skills to their profile. And on the other hand, I see that business people are going more into the direction of strategy, rather than going into tech. And
Hmm.
maybe companies like AWS, for example, or Microsoft, um, they already have the vision, they already have like a strategy ongoing, and they are not really in that need, but they need more technical people that they add soft skills to their standards, right? To whatever they have. And I think this is more or less, the waves that I'm seeing nowadays. Still, nevertheless, I am in touch constantly with companies, big companies here in Germany, and I find many leads that they are like tech leads, or I don't know, a project lead, but they don't have technical background and they are managing a technical team. And of course, this is, crash in both sides because they are not speaking the same language many times. So I don't really think that it's about the strategy from the tech companies. I mean, right? So ask.
You're never gonna be on time, to be honest. Like if you're going to the CTO, you're not gonna be 100% right on time, like what we're doing, following AI all the time. They don't have time to do that. They, of course, the knowledge they have is gonna be a little bit behind, but they have fundamental of the logic thinking
Oh,
behind it.
100%, 100%. But
Branches.
this
Mhm.
is something that, well, Jean Chao, you're head of cloud, for example. you can actually go deeper in certain scope, but you cannot keep up with absolutely everything that is going on. You will actually go deeper in whatever your team is working and whatever is concerning cloud engineering mostly.
I don't go that deep yet now. I go broad at the moment on a level because I can't go deep. This is the task I assign to the people who are doing the job. I have to trust them, believe them. They're taking the responsibility to do the job. That's what my position is. On a high level, they teach me. Every day they teach me how to do things. That's it. The great position about this is you don't research about an area very deep now. This is in the
Mm.
position you can absorb everybody's brand in one go. That's what I find. It's really, really cool. And
Personal question. So, what was more interesting for you, being in the pure hands-on, or now that you are like an overview, like God, knowing about everything?
no, I still do hands on for sure. But just what I'm saying, like you can, because there's so many things you can do by yourself, just too much, right?
Yeah.
But by seeing it, connecting the dots and help other people doing what they like to do is interesting. And then when they're telling me or reporting we have meeting, I learn the thing. I learn the thing as well. Of course, I'm not gonna be as hands-on as them, but I have my own project as well, hands-on, right?
Oh.
So, did I hear this right? You're no longer the king of cloud. You're now the god of cloud.
Now he's God in the clouds.
I was just saying, like it's really cool to in this kind of position to learn things. Like always someone says, "Oh, have you know this? Have you know that? And did you look at this?" And then they point you to the right direction. That's what I think everyone in the management should do, right?
So
Should
Well,
the
learn.
so
architecture or the overall principle is the same, right? So if you're
Yeah.
saying this is what I'm doing, but yeah, there's this new technology to do this, or there's it, like for example, like you're spinning up stuff on the cloud and you're doing servers and things like that. Maybe not a server, but you do it an instance where you can say, well, if I use Docker. Now I know Docker is not the cloud, but what I'm saying is it's almost like you're putting, instead of doing a virtual machine, which is on the cloud, right? You're
Hmm.
doing it on a Docker image, and it's the same thing, but it's a different technology doing the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah, it's let's say like a IOC, right? And the infrastructure as a code. Whatever you're using is the boat, right? It's a container
Yeah,
to change. Either you use a cloud formation or Terraform, whatever. That's technology. What I'm saying is the team can says, okay, Jen, did you see this technology to do IOC? Is good in this area, bad in that area. I
yeah.
have the privilege to actually learn what they learn and absorb the
yes.
information into the tech stack. Are we going to use it? Why are we using it? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, it happens a lot to me, and it was one of the advantages that I would say that this
Mm.
current role that I am working on has, that work with different startups and they are working on different projects. It's not the same one. Maybe they're using, let's say that we have, I don't know, among like 12 startups, we have like four that are working with LLMs, and then you have, like, I don't know, another three that they are working, I don't know, with robotics, and then another team, right? And then of course you have like a big overview, and in the topics that are the topics of my area of interest, let's say data science, well, NLP and so on,
Mhm.
you actually learn a lot from whatever they are building,
Yeah, you
because
do.
you actually see, okay, you look, I implemented this and it worked. And then it's kind of, you're constantly learning what works and what doesn't. And then
Mhm.
you keep it in your head, and then you're able actually to show later on, if you need to coach another startup and say, look, this is what happened if you go towards this path, and this is why it is not working. And I would
Mhm.
say, like, it's incredibly helpful, and it pushes you, like, to keep learning. But anyway, so then in the scope of data science, there are a lot of things as well going on, James. So you are hands on constantly, but I assume that you are still, learning like tools and stuff, or
There's
not?
always, Chad will tell you, we're always learning. We're always learning. OTJ, on the job learning.
What's
So what?
OTP?
So my hobby is to do the job, but my responsibility is to learn how to do it.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of things that didn't work, you guys see that Microsoft is no longer using their, well, I shouldn't say they're no longer, but their Copilot has been a bit of a flop. They're telling their engineers to start using Claude code. You guys
Yeah.
see
Chan,
that?
chan,
They
chan.
spent, listen to this, right? They spent on OpenAI, they spent, get this, okay, $13 billion into ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're telling their engineers, yeah, we're going to use Cloud Code now.
No,
Crazy.
there's so much. It's crazy. Well, the
Like,
worst
what?
part. No,
In
here comes the
Excel,
worst part.
in
Here comes
Excel, you have Cloud Code.
no. Here comes the worst part of this. There are companies in Germany that they are not allowed to use GPT or Cloud, but they must use only Copilot because it's the only AI tool that they are allowed to use in company. So
Mm.
imagine if not even
Why?
Microsoft is using it, how
Yeah.
can they just trust it?
But why is the
Insane.
Copilot is the only one? Is it because it's just pretty bad? It
It's
doesn't.
Privacy.
bad. It's bad. I'm going to tell you, I've
Well,
used,
well, but what I mean is like if your company only allows you to use that and it's the only AI tool that you can use, what can you do? That's it. Train
yeah.
your brain again.
No, I mean, I tried using, I mean, it was a year ago I signed up for the annual subscription of Copilot in VS Studio Code, and it was just crap because it would fill all this stuff. Like you start typing and then it just like does all this stuff, and it's like sometimes it's right, sometimes it's not, and then you got to go and delete all the stuff when it's not because if you accidentally hit the tab button, you got this whole function that you don't even want. Where now we're using like using Claude Code or you're
Yeah.
using Gemini with to anti-gravity, it
Yeah.
does the whole code, and then you're just reviewing what needs to be done rather than typing the first letter. It does, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
It's worlds apart.
so what they can tell you about Copilot, because I try Grok, I try DeepSeek, I try GPT, and I try Copilot. But the only thing that is useful, in my opinion, about Copilot is that the redaction is better than GPT. GPT is so obvious that it's AI because it repeats always the same words.
Well,
I
it doesn't repeat the same words. It repeats it to you the same thing, but in a different way. You're
yes,
wrong, but but it tells it to you again.
yes.
You're like, no, that was wrong last time, and you're just telling me to in a different way. It's still wrong. Because you're telling me different doesn't mean it's right.
Well,
And
but,
then
but but the point is like Copilot is really good in the redaction. That I can tell you. It's very helpful in comparison, right?
Well,
So
in
if we compare,
coding, I can tell you in coding.
no, in coding, no. I never tried for coding though.
Oh,
For coding, no. I tried DeepSeek, I tried GPT. Well, I am playing now with anti-gravity, so then there are many stuff coming there.
I
And it's
think
super helpful as well for the coders, right?
yeah,
absolutely.
the bigger thing of like the Microsoft thing is like you can install Claude inside your Excel now.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
there, I don't know who signed that contract
You can
with
even
them.
use Python in your Excel now. There is like an
Yeah, but
option
I
that
mean,
you can
you have
use
to
it.
know how to code in Python where you
Well,
have
of course,
you
yeah, but
Claude
you
code,
can
it
do
just
it.
does
You can do
it.
it. It's something that before it was not available. Of course, you cannot expect that Excel will perform as well as, I don't know, Anaconda or Jupyter Notebook or Visual Studio, right? But it still is something that you can do. So then I think that is something that it is worth to keep watching what else is coming up, because there are people who are not very friends, like of the coding, and then they prefer the low code, and maybe there are some options.
No, but
Um,
Excel is a big deal. Every year they have Excel championship. You know that? The worldwide Excel championship. Excel is a big deal
It
in
is a
my
big. That is their stock dropped. I think
yeah. That's
11% today.
their cake. And
Yeah.
whoever signed that contract with Claude, that means Claude inside your Excel doesn't need you to learn any Excel like functions anymore. It can
yes.
just ask
Imagine
Claude.
the commission, Jinchao. Imagine the commission of that salesperson.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
That's yeah. Whoever get that contract, and kudos to him.
Yeah. Really.
Well, it's actually not bad. I mean, I think, to be honest, that there are many things like changing, and I don't know how the users in general could benefit from this. I see, the market is shrinking, maybe for the use of AI, maybe for the change of the profiles. And I see, for example, um, software engineers, professionals, in data science, that they just finished, I don't know, their masters, or maybe they had a lot of experience in other countries, and they still cannot find a job. So then for me, it's insane. Especially, in countries like Germany, that there are many articles or reels or news saying like, oh, German desperately needs professionals. Okay, here we are, but nobody calls you. So then, okay, then there is a problem here. So I don't really think that everyone is actually useless.
But what kind of profession they need?
I was thinking that, Jin Chao.
What kind of
Let's get to
profession?
start from that, no? From that point.
And also, if you like, from your own experiences, you could be a rocket scientist. If you don't speak German, you don't get a job.
You don't
Ich
get a
sprache
job.
kein Deutsch.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
but this is actually true. It's something that I would say like most people struggle with. Now there is a special visa that allows people to come to Germany and
yeah.
spend 1 year. So then you can actually literally come with no job, whatever, like for 1 year, just to say, okay, I will try to look for a job, and then if you find a job, you can stay here. And there are a lot of people, asking like, oh, I want more information or whatever. And from my end, I just think, good luck with that. I see people here that they
But that's the
pay
that's
a
the
lot of
that's the
money to
main.
study in Tune, for example, that is like a huge university. And when they finish, if they don't speak German, they don't have a job.
Yeah,
Period.
but that's the meaning of immigration, right? That's the meaning of us. Like we joke about this all the time. Like my friends, it's like it says in the back of the Chinese takeaway. There's two guys talking about, oh, you should wash dishes this way. What do you know about washing dishes? The other guy says, and the guy says, of course, I'm an electrical engineer or something. I designed the dishwasher. You know what?
Yeah.
So, you move to a different country, you don't know the language, your diploma or whatever, it doesn't, it's not even relevant, right?
I mean, like you can get a job, you can be lucky and get a job, but the number of jobs in English are very, very low or lower,
Hmm.
than those in German. I remember when I was looking for opportunities, and then I contacted people in my network that they have like a huge network here in
Yeah,
Germany.
yeah.
Whenever I send the CV and say, look, this is my CV, your profile is great, but the language is a problem. And it was like, oh, okay, then I don't know.
No, that's when you say no. Your language is a problem. Sorry, that's what you have to say.
No, but for real, guys, something that is really important is like I feel that Germany really wants to grow the economy. They want to bring startups from all over the world. They say like we are being international, we are being more open. And when even the startups, when they reach here and then they want to make business with the
Hmm.
companies want the contracts in German, or they want to speak in German. And
Hmm.
in the end, once the startups are here, and then they claim like, okay, but you told me that there are possibilities, at international level, and we are, let's say, like from Saudi Arabia or from here, from there, and we came here like thinking that we could actually make business, and now we can't. The answer from different ventures is, it's your responsibility learning the language, or hire a German person who can speak for you. What kind of answer is that? Come on.
nine, nine.
Then there is something that is not well aligned. You know what I mean? And I understand and I agree that, okay, you are in Germany, then you need to learn the language. So then at some point you have, because it's part of integration, right?
Well, I'm
But
just
in the
saying, like
meantime,
if I moved to Argentina and I didn't speak Spanish, it would be very hard for me to get a job.
no, I know, but you get my point. Like I understand that this part of the integration, but nevertheless, if the country really needs professionals in areas that internationally they are working in English, because I'm sure, Jean Chao, like you go to China and you have the international companies speaking in English inside.
No.
Or the companies, well, in
No.
Argentina, for example, EY, PwC, KPMG, like these kind of companies, even though they are in Argentina, they speak in English. The mails are sent in English. There is nobody speaking Spanish within the organization. Accenture, all these companies. Here in Germany, it's mandatory when you apply that you have to speak German. So then it's kind of why, like if everywhere else is working a different way, there is no answer. I
I
have no
think
answer to
they
that.
have to protect their own language, right? And just thinking about how many German is there, they're not. well, they're not like a Spanish or something. They were 14th century. They went to a different country and find a lot of people make a lot of people speak Spanish. Right? With the
Well,
second war, they can't really do from the other
Yeah.
person wanted to make everyone speak Germany. See, that's how bad was that ended up.
yeah, well, but coming back to the point of AI, so then okay,
Yeah,
if you really need professionals who have certain skills and you cannot find them here, then you need to be more flexible. That is no other way.
yeah. I think European we talk about this. I think the policy, right? It will make this innovation AI thing fail somehow.
Hmm.
That's how I feel. But yeah.
Yeah, but like I really feel that AI is really moving so fast. I feel that there are waves as well. I
Mm,
remember when I started working, all the startups were so obsessed with generative AI, generative AI, generative AI. That was the topic of the moment. Then it slightly moved to
that's
generative AI, LLMs, and only LLMs. And
yeah.
then from there, now it moves to agents, and it's kind of moving, like and I feel like every cohort that we have is kind of another different way coming up. So then,
Yeah.
today I was planning a hackathon. Sorry, this one is so funny, guys. I was planning a hackathon with a professor, and then I said, well, but we need to see, what is the interest of the students as well, so then they can actually fix the challenge of certain startups that are working in ABC. And then he said, and we were discussing about these waves, right? And he said, well, the hackathon is in like 3 months ahead. So then we still don't know what would be the topic of the moment at that time.
Mhm.
3 months is a lot of time in terms of AI. And I agree with him. We were laughing, but this is true.
But yeah,
It's
but just thinking about right now, all of us, like 2024, we're talking about ChatGPT, using ChatGPT, but right now, we're using everything, right? And
Yes. And like for coding, for low code, you have, I don't know, Laravel, N8N, Cloud Code, Anti-Gravity. There are so many tools. It's not only one, and there is not only one size fits all. This is also important to consider as well.
yeah, I feel like 2024 is people we're looking for AI to use, but right now you can't run away from it. Everywhere is AI
Yeah.
too. Every
Yes, yes.
Era, the ticket system we use, there's AI in there. Amazon has.
Rufus, or what's it called, or
Yeah, it
something?
can
Yeah.
make your tickets better, save your time. We use Gemini daily searching Google stuff, Gmail in there, Drive in there, all the Google suite, right? And then Amazon, like even inside the console, has Amazon Q. You can ask questions. You can't run away from it. It's just everywhere now.
I agree. I agree 100%. Guys, we're reaching to the end of our episode. It was amazing talking to you. I think that there are so many changes still coming up. I
I
would
think
like to remind our audience to follow us, subscribe to our channel, send us a message, interact with us. We really would like to interact with you. And if there is any topic that you're interested to discuss about or anything, we are always open because we really like to have you in the discussions. Remember that this podcast is sponsored by Tequila AI. So then, if you need help in your organization to implement AI, you can go to tequilaai.com, and then our friends will treat you super well because you come from us. Guys, it was
The
amazing.
last thing I wanted to say, buddy, we didn't get to talk about, but it was on the description, which we'll talk about next week, is meta super intelligence. So we're going to talk about that next week. So
True, true. So then this is actually something that we will get started with next week. And guys, see you on Thursday.
see you guys. Adios. Avita Zane.